Hello everybody, welcome to my new Sunday market breakdown. So as usually we started the DXY on the weekly chart. What can we see on the weekly? We are still bearish. So what can we see on the weekly is this last lower high wick here that didn't got broken here. We had a nice wick that came above that. So liquidity, we found some new liquidity from that wick that came a little bit above that one. So that's why I went aggressively to the downside. It's not that aggressively. It's, yeah, at the end, it's coming very correctively. At the daily, it will be more clear. But yeah, we see we are still bearish because we have here this high, this are low, and we didn't broke it. So we are making now this double low, double bottom. So from there on, I can see the same thing. We have here a weekly low, and this week came just below that. So there is new liquidity found with a weekly bullish candle close already this week. It's not uh, a fully confirmed candle, so it has some resistance here. The candle came a little bit back, so it's not fully, yeah, I'm not that convinced of that weekly candle that we will go now very impulsive to the upside. What we can do is make a possible, yeah, again, a bearish candle and taking some more liquidity from here to have that further push to the upside. So this can happen. But then we will see on the daily that the daily is still bearish with that daily descending trend line here, holding the price down, and potentially right now also if we tap this zone, and then we can potentially go to the downside. The one thing we can see that is yeah, clear for me is we have this very big impulse, and now we are coming very corrective in a descending channel. As you can see, the price is moving correctiver than this impulse, so it's more corrective. So what we can see already, if I take my fib from the high here to the low, because this is our high and this is our new low, you can see it rejected from that 78.60 as resistance. So now we can push further to the downside potentially. Even if you have that weekly liquidity found or that weekly bullish candle close. I see that we have here some sellers kicking in and that the price can push more to the downside. So this can happen. So on the 4 hour, we are still in a bullish trend, and the price has some difficulties to break this zone. It tried to go to the upside. Every time we try to go to the upside, it's less, how I need to say that, it's less powerful to go to the upside, because normally a bullish M will play out to the upside, but this time we are having some difficulties to break that. So what we can see then is that we can push through it. So this is a nice sign that we can possibly push further to the downside. So this is what I can see on the DXY. So then the first pair that I have in mind, USD-CAD. So what I can see on USD-CAD on the weekly, we made here a reversal pattern in the form of a shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2, and we went to the downside. So we are now making also the smaller bearish W with that shoulder 1 here, head, shoulder 2 potentially. So this is very nice to see. We have that weekly bullish candle close because we came from these lows here, but we didn't, how I need to say that, we didn't took some liquidity at this weekly lows here. So the price can still come back to the downside from here and taking some liquidity further here or a little bit lower from this week here, and then we can go back to the upside. So this is possible, but yeah, if I look on the daily, you can see on the daily we can still make this bigger bearish W here with this fake out here of that bearish W, as you can see. So we took some nice liquidity from the daily, as you can see, and we just closed back below. So this is a nice sign that the bears can still kick into the downside. So this can happen. So what I want to see on USD-CAD, is that potentially diesel. So I want to see that diesel like this. So we have here that first candle, second candle, already a red candle. The third candle is forming around 11 o'clock in the night, and then around 3 a.m. it will form the next one. So I want to see the diesel. So if I take then my a short setup till that previous structure around 2%, it will be like this. Then it will be good around, yeah, 35 pips will be okay. It will be enough. And if you go to the daily -27 here, like this aligning with that weekly liquidity zone from that weekly reverse point that can potentially turn against us, then the trade will be running around 8.5%. So yeah, 8% will be okay, like this, 8%, like this. So yes, so I expect USDCAD to go to the downside because the DXY can go also to the downside to take some more liquidity. So then EURNZD on the weekly chart. What can we see on the weekly chart? It's very aggressively pushing to the upside. So we expect a bullish pattern to play out or go even more to the upside. So I went to the daily. Now what we can see on the daily, this was our low, this is our high, these are the same high. So I see this as one leg. So we have here first leg, second leg, third leg, potential fourth leg coming back till this smaller bullish M here, this bullish M here, because the 61.80 FIP levels are aligning within it, it's falling into it. So I can see that I can trade that smaller bullish M here, potentially the fake out to go to the upside. So I want to see the price coming back till this daily low here. So like this, I want to see after that impulse some corrective nature like this, counters to the trend for potential more upside momentum. So that's what I want to see, and we'll see what will happen on EURNZD. Then AUDNZD, the same one. If I go on the weekly, we are making an indication of bullish trend. So it's an indication that the trend is turning bullish because we have this shoulder one here, this head, shoulder two, and we can trade still to the upside, but I saw here that there is some resistance here, support, resistance, then here some clear support. We have some kind of sellers against us here, so it's a zone that could play against us. As you can see, it's a supply and demand zone, resistance, false break, resistance, yeah. It's a zone that can play against us, but the driver is indicational bullish for me, so I can look for more upside momentum for potentially go till this weekly highs here. This is also possible. So yeah. So if I go to the daily, what can you see on the daily? We are making this bullish M, the first leg, second leg, third leg, daily retrace candle already forming here with that daily FIP completion aligning. As you can see from the low here till the high, you can also draw it like this. It's all a little bit the same, then it will be more aligning with that bullish M, that smaller one. So the -27 got tapped, round numbers to the downside, and now we have this bullish M that can play out with that candle, retrace candle. So this is a sign that after that impulse, we can expect some corrective nature, counter to the trend for potentially going more to the upside to take that long. So if I go now to the 4-hour chart, what can you see already? You can see impulse, corrective nature forming potentially. We need to break first this higher low here, like this to make this shoulder one, head, shoulder two for potential more downside momentum. So I will show it's more clear for you guys. Shoulder one, head, shoulder two, potentially break of that higher low, and then we can go more to the downside. And then this would be a nice kind of fake out flag for going more to the upside. So we'll see what will happen. I expect some corrective nature counter to the trend. Then silver dollar, so silver. So if I go to the weekly, what can we see on the weekly chart? We received a weekly bearish candle close because we are sitting at this selling zone here, as you can see. So this is my weekly reverse point, and what can we see? We are having some clear supply and demand, some acting as support here, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance. So that's why we had a weekly bearish candle close, because the sellers are present there. The banks and institutes like to sell on these zones. If I go on the monthly, it's not that clear 3 months yeah, not even that so clear. So the weekly is more clear to see this as a supply and demand zone. So the weekly for me is still indication of bullish because this low got broken here. So this was a new low, and then we broke this previous high. So we are indication of bullish. We can trade here the pullback, but the daily is still bullish. So if I go to the daily now, the daily is still bullish on gold, on silver, and you can see it's finding some support here at these daily lows. So as you can see, this was our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg bullish M for potentially more upside momentum. So this can play out very well. And what we can see, if we can make, yeah, we cannot make that liquidity zone. So yeah, okay. So on the daily, it's finding some support. So if I go now to the 4 hour, what can you see? The 4 hour is, yeah, in some kind of um, sitting between these lows and these highs here. Some, yeah, descending channel. It's not the clearest one, but it's moving not that impulsive anymore. It's just decelerating between these highs and these lows here. False break of that. So there is already a sign that the price is tired of going to the downside, and maybe we can make here kind of pattern in the form of a bullish N maybe, or yeah, just diesel for potential more upside momentum. We will see what will happen on silver there. Then NZDUSD, I'm looking at the daily pattern. This can play out because this is our last low and this is our new high. And yeah, this is just a bullish indicational trend. Potential, yeah, shoulder one here, head shoulder two, but we are just below that, so we are under it. So I expect the price to come till this daily lows to make potential fake out because uh, the weekly is still bearish also with that weekly retrace candle. So we have two criteria against us, but if we potentially can take some how I need to say that liquidity from that weekly reverse point here, from that weekly lowest week, then there is a high chance that the banks and institutes like to buy on these zones because the traders, the day traders, scalpers are going short. So there is a high chance that we can have some buy momentum there. So this is what I can see on NZDUSD. For the rest, it's looking, yeah, bearish on the weekly. So we are also making some resistance. So and then we are going impulsively to the downside. So it's a high chance that we go further to the downside on NZDUSD like that. Good. So AUDCHF on the weekly, what can you see on the weekly? We are still bearish. We are making this bearish W. And on the daily, we just not want to wait for this bearish W to play out. This first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg coming back to possibly these daily highs and then going to the downside with a descending trend line holding the price down. So this needs to have some more development. So this is my forecast for upcoming week. I hope you liked it, and yeah, see you next week. Bye.